Alright, this is the Hodge twins. A lot of y'all that hate my channel probably are not fans of the Hodge twins either. But they're doing a video here about some inner city neighborhood, Oakland, uh, Oakland, San Francisco. An area of San Francisco that's called Oakland. It's a ghetto, and it's not real well. It's not a ghetto. It's an inner city. So it used to be where you were unsafe if you were in a ghetto. Now we done went from ghettos to ghettos and inner cities. Okay. I told you the story about how I recently went to a neighborhood that was gated. It was gated because they were trying to control crime in that town, in that part of that town anyway. The part of the town itself was a really nice town. I ride through there every day. I do Uber trips there all the time, but I didn't know that up in the hill they had a housing complex up there that was once very nice, and now they have security, wall-to-wall security up there. They also have a town that used to be part of the Hill District that's now called Oak Hill. Now the Hill District is a lot smaller than what it used to be. People don't want you calling Oak Hill the Hill. But the thing is, the Hill here in Pittsburgh is still ingested with a lot of crime. And I got a friend at work that comes to me like almost every day and tells me that, oh, did you hear about... No, I don't keep track of what goes up on in the Hill because I know that, you know, if I'm ever up on the hill on any given day, especially at night, find a rock and hide up under it, okay? You telling me like I'm supposed to be surprised if somebody got shot up on the hill. I'm not surprised. My cousin used to live up there. I know. There's a town here called Bellevue that runs into another town that's called Avalon. Now, I think when you get to Avalon, you might be leaving Allegheny County. I'm not sure. But Bellevue has a scheme up there that they do to where not only does your background have to match, okay, and there's a good bit of black people up there, and it's growing. But Bellevue has a part of town that well, Bellevue in general, all the housing complex up there, they have a lot of immigrants up there. Sometimes I wonder if America goes out of the way to save immigrants but not white people. We used to protect white people, but now sometimes I wonder if, you know, defund the police type of politics are a slap in the face to white people more than anybody else, because like this town, Oakland, their commissioner is an Asian woman. But she's letting them know they keep on doing this stuff, they're going to get caught and they're going to be charged as an adult and they're going to get the full extent of punishment for breaking the laws. But you know, you don't hear a lot of Asians and Indian guys or women complaining about, you know, what, you know, so there's two things going on there. There's black folks that insist on just hating on white people. It doesn't matter who they are, what they do, where they live, whether they share property or with them. They just hate white people. And these kids are taught to hate white people. And they're just going out there and doing all kinds of things. okay, to these white people. Not that they need it. Not that they're so poor that they need it. They need to do this. But it's their hobby. You know, the Bible says a fool does evil and calls it a sport. Okay? They're calling this a sport. They're calling this a business. This is a business to them. Going out and attacking white people and taking their money and leaving them dead or unconscious on the sidewalk. For somebody to run over on the street or somebody to go back and finish raping and robbing them after they get done with them or whatever. And this has been the crime of black people. Or should I say black kids? You tell me. Black men in general are doing crime as well. But again, there's a town up here not too far from me called Bellevue. And I think it's one of them inner cities that's trying to expand back to where they were. And they have this scheme where you have to have a good background and you also have to have good credit in order to move in there. And just like, you know, up here where I live, since the pandemic, I've seen more black folks move in up there. And, you know, one thing that I see in these neighborhoods that makes a difference is strict police presence, like white cops going around looking like they're racist, like they're just waiting for you to park the wrong way, or waiting for you to put your car in reverse for 2 seconds, or waiting for you to do something dumb like dumb on their part, like a aggressive lane change, you know, like we saw in that one movie, Squat, you know, an aggressive lane change. Okay, they're just looking for a reason to put a black man in cuffs. You know, these cities are the safest. And since I've been doing Uber, I've been getting out to places around here. I didn't realize just how beautiful my neighborhood is until I started doing Uber, and I'm finding out at these little tiny little neighborhoods within the bigger neighborhood. The big neighborhood itself is beautiful, and then you live in this little tiny neighborhood where they don't let you know. That's another thing. They don't let you know that they got low-income people living back there. The low-income people are embedded and protected by the... You know, I picked up some ladies that live in... I can't even remember the name of this little neighborhood. But they live back there, and it's part of my neighborhood. It's part of the neighborhoods right next to me. But they live back in this little tiny neighborhood. Okay? Where there's no town. It's just subsidized housing. You know, or row housing or whatever. But it's beautiful, though. It's well kept, well taken care of. You know, good decorations, and you name it. Okay? These people live there, and I've had to go there, you know, because it's hard for them to get out of there, and you know, I gotta admit, I'm leery about putting a bus stop everywhere, because you don't know who's coming away to that bus stop. You don't know who's getting off on that bus stop to get on another bus. And this is how, you know, some guys do crime. They catch the bus. They don't live nowhere near that neighborhood. They get on the bus and go there, and you know, I was talking to somebody yesterday. I had a nail in my tire, so I went to go get a nail taken out of my tire right down the street here from my home, Goodyear. And me and the guy got to talking. There's one thing white people do white people do the dumbest things to not be called racist. I'm having a conversation with this guy. He could not handle my honesty about my own people. At first he said, "Oh yeah, you know that. See, I knew that too, man. Like, I knew that. See, I'm surprised you know that because I knew that." I said, "I'm black, brother. I grew up in these ghettos, man. I know where this crap is coming from, you know?" But then, like, before I left, he was like, every time I would say the word black, he would try to explain to me he ain't racist. Like, dude, I'm the one saying the word black. Don't sit there and say, well, hey, man, you know, well, the way I see it, man. No, don't say that. And then later on, when you get around your white friends, say, hey, a black man told me. You know, you gonna be bold about it. You know, you ain't gotta be scared, man. If I'm the one talking about my people, so to speak, then I'm the one talking about my people. It don't make you a racist because I'm talking about my people. He tried to use the what is it? Morgan Freeman statement on me. Well, you know what they say. This is how we close. You know what they say? They say if you want racism to stop, you gotta. Yeah, I said stop talking about it. Yeah, Morgan Freeman. I know that. But this is the thing, though. He's the one that let me know, and that he didn't understand why this was like this and why this was like this. Everything from that riverboat situation all the way to, going back a minute, to that riot over in New York City. He knows those were black kids. He said, that's a lot of people. I said, that's a lot of black people, brother. It's a lot of black people. Now, these guys here, the Hodge twins, they use the N-word like, oh my God, I feel, they make me want to get on their show and say, please stop using the N-word. You use it too much. I know they a bunch of, you know, but don't call them that like 8 times within a video. Don't say, you know, you say that word, you say that N-word like you talking about water, you know, or you like you having a conversation about water or something. All the niggas. Yeah, well, we ain't talking about the white people. We talking about the niggas. You know. You got to show with that, man. But Kevin's honesty here is unbelievably powerful, but it's also unbelievably true. And you can't argue with it. Now, what he said about, I understand what Kevin on my left is saying to his brother on the right. Like, what he's saying is, you can watch this video. You might not like the Hodge twins, but you need to watch this video if you are feeling anything I'm saying. What they're arguing about is, even though the numbers that he showed you, the number list, even though the numbers are that white people are the majority, they're only the majority by, you know, 10 or 15%. So Kevin on my left is saying that makes black people the majority, because if you got, like they showed in this video, if you got 5 black kids with hoodies or more walking down the street looking like they about to do something, and they actually do something criminal, that becomes the majority. You see what I'm saying? You see what Kevin is saying? That becomes the majority because it's very, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And what he's saying is, what he's saying though is that the majority of crime in a predominantly white neighborhood is majority black. Like I keep saying. And it's, folks, you can get mad and hate on me, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Matter of fact, crime in America is majority black. All over. If it's America, if it's a state, crime in America is majority black. Now, I do believe that, in the upcoming years, very soon, in different parts of America, crime is going to be Spanish. Like in places like California, Texas, Arizona, a lot of crime is going to be majority Spanish. It's going to be majority Mexican or majority Latino or whatever, whoever is committing the most crimes out of the Spanish colonies in these countries. Because right now, the people that are coming across the border, you goddamn Democrats, the people that are coming across the border are actually committing crimes now with their arrogance, and Joe Biden's letting this go on. They're actually committing crimes the minute they find a spot on this side of the border. They're immediately committing crime. They're not waiting till they get settled in and test the waters. No, they're immediately. We saw that one video. I don't know if I did it or not, but we saw the one video. I think it's in Texas, I think it is, where they had moved these border people to this one neighborhood, and they immediately started attacking people in that. And who were the people that were sitting in on the town meeting? Half of them were black, and they were crying and moaning and groaning, okay? Like their kids don't do it too. You can lift yourself up as a black person or as a black woman and call it the race card and lift yourself up and be a strong black woman, strong black man, and say that you're reaching out to the kids and you love, you just love your people and you want to help them and all that kind of stuff. You want to be a pillar in the community. How dare you, D. Roy Cruz? How dare you, Kevin Hodge? To say this, to call us a bunch of N-words and blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you something. Fix the numbers. Fix the numbers. Them numbers ain't going away. How the hell are you going to be 20-some% white compared to 21? Now the whites were 28, blacks were 21. To Kevin, that makes you the to Kevin, that makes you the that makes blacks the majority. Why? Because of crime. Not because you're actually the majority. And then he said too, they were arguing, Kevin and his brother, they were arguing about, trying to blame this all on the Democratic Party. And it's true. Okay? A lot of these white folks that are voting Democrat only agree with certain policies in the Democratic Party. They only agree with certain policies. They don't agree with everything. And blacks will say they agree with everything, not because they agree with everything, because they really don't care what you do. They only care about the black issues. It's all about us. While we shooting each other and killing each other and fighting with each other and tearing each other's businesses up, okay, and everything else, I can go from the spirit to the flesh. We are ruining each other, but at the same time, we say, oh, we brothers and we all that, okay? Brandon Tatum just done a video about that riverboat thing. I think it was in Alabama. The black people that showed up late, they were wrong. They turned that into a riot. It was already 2 against 2. The one that swam across the river to come and save, maybe he was in the right. Now it's 3 against 2. But yet, they had to come from up top. The ones that were taking pictures and got the thing on video to begin with. They came from down top and just started beating the crap out of these white people. They didn't go there to save the black man. They went down there to hurt these white people. Because as you see, they were beating up on the women. And you know good and well these women didn't come there to fight. These women came there to save their husbands. If I'm beating the crap out of a guy because he tried to do something to me and his wife shows up, I need to take a minute to feel family on him for a fucking minute. That's his wife come to save her husband because he's getting the crap beaten out of him. And I swear to God, if my wife ever showed up, it's somebody trying to hurt me or whatever, we done went from fist to bullets, bitch. That's why I'm glad I'm not married. Because if my wife ever show up to defend me and somebody call her the wrong thing or put their hands on her in any way, they was throwing these men's wives in the river. Kicking them in the face. Niggers. Take a goddamn motherfucking minute. And be family oriented for a minute. What if it was your wife? You forgot what the fuck a woman is. That little skinny raggedy woman ain't gonna hurt nobody. I'd have pushed her out of the way. Excuse me. I need to get a... Excuse me, ma'am. I'm not going to hurt him too bad. Just let me get a couple more punches in. But no, he had to get off of him and get on her and kick her in the face and smack her head up against the wall. They was throwing him into the building and everything else. Y'all don't know this black man. Sure, he was in the right. But my God, this ain't 1960. My God. You done forgot what a woman is. Oh, she's not a woman because she's white. Just another bitch. And the guys that started it, oh, they shouldn't have been arrested. They should have got off because of the damage that was done to their wives. Something ever happened like that to me, I'm going to just quit. I'm going to say I'm sorry. I'm going to take my wife home and then I'm coming after your ass. I'm coming after you. You don't put your hands on my wife like that. I don't care what I did wrong. That's just like these cops that like go to arrest some dude. You know, let's go black for a minute. These cops. You want to see a black man actually go look for a cop. Go knock on his door. Yeah. Cop pulls a man over for speeding or whatever, and his wife starts talking for him, which women do. They're our wives. That's what they do. They finish our conversations. He said, I'm not speaking to you, I'm speaking to him. And because she wouldn't shut up and got mad and called him some names, he figured he gonna come around to the passenger side and snatch her out of the car. Got this poor man crying over his wife. Because he going to jail, because now he gotta get out of the car because his emotions done took over. Like, hold up, man, watch how you put your hands on my wife. Oh, they went to his house. They found out where he lived. Bullets was flying. There was trouble in white America that day. That guy did his couple days in prison because he didn't do nothing wrong. His wife did. Because she opened up her mouth. He was just being nice about it. But his wife screwed it all up. That wasn't no reason for the officer to go over there and snatch her out of the car and treat her like a whatever. I'm not even going to say it. And then call her names and all kinds of stuff too. And then put cuffs on her after he had his hands all over her. Now they both going to jail. When he didn't, she didn't need to escalate the thing, but still, that's my wife. You don't put your hands. Y'all done forgot what a woman is. Women done forgot what a woman is. Women today talking about they're going to go around and beat up on people. I remember a girl I used to work with. She got arrested for her and her girlfriends getting together and beating on some people because they, in their own neighborhood, because they thought they stole from them. Turns out, not only did she get charged for going in this man's house, and she beat up on his wife because he wasn't home. Of course, he was working. They beat up on his one wife, and she had a friend with her, and a friend had her gun with her. Her friend pulled out her gun and said, "You're trespassing. We don't want to shoot nobody," you know. But they went in there and trashed her house anyway, okay, and that. They ended up getting arrested, okay. Not only for trashing their house, not only for assaulting this man's wife, but they had the wrong couple. This is not the couple that robbed him, okay. Because if this was the couple that robbed you, you'd have never found them. Duh. Okay? But this is the thing. Black crime in America is exactly what it is. Black crime in America. Crime in America is majority black. Sure, white people do it too. What? Why not? 1 out of every 20? Sure, they do it too. Look at this. Look at this. 2 carloads of niggers chasing this old lady. I'm sorry, Kevin. You got me doing it too, man. They got old ladies. They got old ladies waiting till and they laughing about it. It ain't funny. They got old ladies. I watched this video in its entirety, man. That's a shame. They got old ladies in their 60s and 70s running like they in their 20s, okay? You know, 2 cars full of niggers after one old lady. But I appreciate Kevin's honesty, though. I appreciate Kevin's honesty. Now, in closing, what can we do? Well, this Asian woman wants to say, "Oh, you will be caught." She's had enough. You will be caught. We don't need to wait on people to get hurt before we start separating cultures, as me and the guy was talking yesterday. And when I say separate cultures, I'm not talking about separating black from white or race from race. I'm talking about separating those that have money from those that don't. Those that are spending from those that are not spending anything. Those that work hard from those that don't work hard at all. Okay? Separation of culture. Those that are Christian, okay, from those that are pagan. Okay? And you can do that. We used to have what they call Bible belts all over America. We don't have those anymore. They don't call them Bible belts anymore. That's the hillside right above a ghetto. They call that a Bible belt now. They don't tell you that on the other side of that little hill is a ghetto. that them people will come from that ghetto and walk into your little Doochie neighborhood and say F Jesus and shoot you in the head at the same time. They don't care. Okay? The Bible Belt. What? A part of town with a bunch of Baptist churches on every corner. And nobody's, no fornicators, no prostitution, no bars. Mainly the bars and the Baptist churches, the two B's. Okay? Is what makes it a Bible Belt. Not the fact that, anybody's sexually moral. There's a lot of fornicators in a Baptist community. But nevertheless, Kevin's honesty here is really, 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 it blows my mind. I'm surprised he's allowed to say that on network YouTube. You need to hear what he says. You think I got mad and I cussed today? You should hear some of the stuff that came out of his mouth. Even me, I'd have to say, Kevin, whoa, whoa, whoa. Even his brother was like, Kevin, what you talking about? Whoa, whoa, Kevin. But it's true, though. It's true. And this is why I can't even hear where I live. I'm 20 minutes out from downtown Pittsburgh. I'm probably 17 minutes from the nearest ghetto. The nearest ghetto behind me would be McKeesport. And Rankin and Clareton and that, they're right behind me. They're right next door to McKeesport. Glassport used to be the opposite. It's on the opposite side of the highway. Or Glassport was south of the highway. McKeesport was north of the highway. Now McKeesport and Glassport are both ghettos. Glassport is starting to ghetto down like McKeesport. My mom raised me in McKeesport. McKeesport, me and the guy talked about this later while they were fixing my tire. Me and the guy talked about this, how he knew McKeesport. We both knew McKeesport. He's about 10 years older than me. He knows McKeesport back in the days of the trolley. Back in the days when we had other races in McKeesport besides black and white people. We had Indians and Spanish, and, we all hung out together, babysitted each other's kids. Our mothers babysitted everybody's kids. I had all kinds of kids. I come home from school, who's all these kids in my house? Got a Spanish baby. I got the Hawaiian baby. I got a bunch of white babies and a bunch of black. My mom was doing daycare. Today, that could get you shot. Today, that could be a riot. That could turn into a riot today. My very first girlfriend, my entire life, was Hawaiian. This was before. There were no Hawaiian chicks in Homewood where my grandmother lived. My grandmother hated white people. My grandmother said dumb stuff like, I'm so pissed off, I had to stand behind that white lady while she running her goddamn mouth with the cashier. I said, grandmother, what about the black lady that was standing behind in line talking to the cashier? They get and I'm just a kid. What, they get a pass? Cut the bullshit. Really. Seriously. Cut the bullshit. But this is why, even though I'm 20 minutes out from Pittsburgh, and I love these white people up here and all like that, I have to say goodbye. I have to relocate. I have to move forward. Because this is where we're getting. As much as I talk about black folks and stuff on my channel, on this channel, and y'all hate it, I want to say this. It's not good enough anymore to try to get away from black folks. Now, I took a one-day vacation. I told you about this not too long ago into the place that I'm relocating to, Lord willing, when I get when I'm trying to figure out how much money I need to do this, and then I'm going to do it. But I was there, and this was right in the state of Pennsylvania. And I have a video to watch where this woman speaks very negatively about Pennsylvania. She believes that Pennsylvania has more ghettos than it does beautiful parts of Pennsylvania. Right, that's why your butt still lives here. But anyway, that's why your white butt still lives here. Where I went for a one-day vacation. I was doing Uber out there. The black people are different. The black people are like me. They all left there to get away from Pittsburgh. They all went there to get away from Philadelphia. The two most dangerous cities in Pennsylvania. Now, this woman wanted to cry about, small towns. But a lot of these towns here in Pennsylvania are being rejuvenized. They're being remodeled. Not only spiritually, not only, architecturally, but they're also being remodeled socially. And they're being remodeled as far as culture. And one of the things that we do, and it's just like up here in Bellevue that I was talking about, and that's why I'm fixing my credit right now. But one of the things that they do is they're separating cultures of people by their jobs and how they spend money. By their jobs and how they spend money. Okay? That's what they're doing. And yeah. We need to separate these kids that are doing crime in a community. We need to make strict laws for them that tell them that you want to shop at Target, you have to be of a certain social form of attitude and behavior. You want to shop at Target, you want to shop at Walmart. We have to go back. See, back in the day when black folks were under the Jim Crow laws and black folks, and before the Civil Rights Movement and all that kind of stuff, black folks knew their place. And the last thing that they wanted to do out of place was attack white people. If a black man got lynched, it wasn't because he, did a carjacking. It wasn't because he assaulted some woman in the subway. It wasn't because he was going around beating up old grannies and taking their money and dragging them across the street like the lady in this video said. It was because of them doing simple things, Emmett Till, like looking at a white woman sexually or saying something perverted to a white woman, calling it just being nice. Or, what I'm saying? And back in them days, you didn't worry about black crime. White people didn't worry about black folks doing crazy stuff like shooting their grandmama while grandmama was trying to get home and cook dinner for them. White folks didn't worry about that. White folks worried about his wife being out there alone, and some black dude just happened to ease his way into the bar because they let him in there, and say something to his wife, or his wife was needed trouble. His wife was having trouble getting her groceries into the cart or lifting something, and some black man showed up, some muscle-bound black man showed up to help her. That's what the white man feared every day. The white man feared that the white woman would cheat on him with a black man. He did not fear that you would kill his mother, that you would actually rape his wife, beat his wife up, leave her comatose in the hospital. He wasn't worried about that. He was worried about you showing up. You was worried about you showing up. Like, I hope I ain't got to go down there. Like, I hope they don't see me paying my car insurance. I hope them white hillbilly boys don't see me paying my car insurance. Because if they see me down there, they'll kill me. They might start some stuff. And if you think for 1 minute that you're just paying the white man back for the lynchings of yesterday over stupid stuff, and you're just paying the white man back for all the biracial, miserable children, and you're just paying the white man back, you're an idiot. You stink. You need to leave the country. But it's kind of like God, in a way. The same God that allowed the earthquake to happen, he could have stopped it. He didn't have to allow it to happen. He didn't have to allow the flood to happen. He didn't have to let those children die. And he's God. And he allowed it to happen. God was smart. He understood that in order for him to be God and continue to be God, you ain't gonna do no drive-by on God. He let your wife die. He let your wife get raped. He let your children die. He let your house catch on fire. He caused you to be crippled in the earthquake. Okay? He sent a hurricane and now your house is gone. Okay? But you ain't going to do no drive-by on God. You ain't going to assault God and call it getting even with God people or getting even with God. It's the same way with white people when they're human. The same people that enslaved you delivered you from slavery. Let me say that again. The same people that enslaved you, their posterity, their offspring, delivered you from slavery. The same people that put you through slavery, their offspring delivered you from slavery. The same people that caused you to be poor are giving you business contracts. They've already apologized. They've already evened the score, evened the deal. And now we're back to majority crime in America is black. And as long as white people are out there owning the big corporations, as long as white people are out there helping black people get loans and helping them get welfare and helping them, scam the government as well as use the government legally. As long as white people are out there selling you homes and renting you homes and trading and they've evened the score. They've made a firm apology. It's not about you and white people, black people. It's about you. It's about you and your inability to raise your own damn kids. It ain't about the white man. The white man is making money It's about the green old dollar. The white man is making money. And when you go out there and you work hard, you get some of that money. The white man is out there looking for people to work his business. And when you clean yourself up and go out there and say, I need a job, and I'm willing to train and learn and working as an apprentice to get in there, you can get one of them business contracts. But no, it's like Donald Trump on The Apprentice. You're fired. Because you didn't even show up for your first day of work. You didn't even show up for your first day of business. You didn't show up. I am DeRoy Cruz. I am your life applications officer, but two carloads of niggers for that one little old black lady. Please tell me that these videos... I'm going to let you hear this. These dumb fools, hold up. I want the part where they was... Okay, wait. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, no, wait. All right, we'll start there. I want you to hear them talking.
It's a video? Yeah!
If you are thinking to commit crimes in the city of Oakland, then you will be caught.
A stern warning by Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao after 9 juveniles, the youngest only 12 years old, were arrested by police for nearly 36 robberies in Oakland, Piedmont, and El Cerrito. The group's been linked to the robbery and assault of a 63-year-old woman outside Rockridge Market Hall. I've learned they're also suspected in this holdup of another woman who was confronted in the Trussell Glen neighborhood by 2 carloads of robbers.
That woman saw the niggas coming.
We are not going to allow for our residents and our businesses to feel unsafe in our communities.
Niggas got up and started running.
We do continue to collaborate.
Oh, some niggas coming. Wait a minute, that was like instinct. You see black people running, run. That is crazy, man.
It's crazy, man. They robbed her and I think they assaulted her.
You okay?
I think so.
But okay, I went over the demographics. These niggas is out of control. I went over the demographics earlier. You know, the breakdown is it's like 33%, right? White, black, Hispanic. So now they're at like it's a melting pot. Yeah, it's like a meeting. I think it's like a city hall meeting, and they're talking about the crime. Yeah. And look at the demographic makeup of the audience. Go to the film. Let's go to. Look at that.
There must be consequences. It's unreal that there are no consequences for these children.
Emotions are running high.
Anyway, one thing I hate is when you talk about this to people. They say, well, white people can commit crime too. But that's because you said it. I go to work every day and I go to other places and I hear people just calling black people calling black people a bunch of niggers and this motherfucking black person and blah, 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 blah. Like, but when somebody like me, for some reason, when I say, well, you know, when I get honest with them and say, well, I love black people, but I don't want to live around them. Huh? What? Oh, yeah, I'm cool with black people, but I won't live in Homewood. I won't live in Wilkinsburg. I won't live in Braddock. I won't, you know. A white dude tried to correct me about Braddock not too long ago. He says, you know, Braddock is a borough, right? It's the borough of Braddock. And I believe Braddock is in Allegheny County, though, I think. But when he said that, I looked at him and I said, a lot of people from Pittsburgh moved to Braddock and commit more crime in Braddock than they've done in other parts of Pittsburgh. Braddock is the ghetto. Okay, if Braddock ain't one of the ghettos of Pittsburgh or Allegheny County, then Braddock's the ghetto of Braddock. It's still a bunch of black folks, okay, being the majority of crime in Braddock. Tell me a story, my white brother. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, you're right. Okay? But it just kills me how people will sit there and say it, but when you say it, oh, you're going against your people, and you must be a Trump supporter, and you this and you that. If before I ever became a Republican, I was already tired of the Democratic Party. Before I ever became a Republican, I was this way. I was this way when I was a kid, and I wasn't even old enough to vote. I was tired of Homewood the day my mother left McKeesport and I had to live in Homewood full time. When my mother got real sick and we had to move into my grandmother's house, I was tired of Pittsburgh right then. And by the time I graduated from high school, I went back to McKeesport to visit. And I was already sick of McKeesport too. I remember taking my kids there. And they looked at me like, Dad, what are you showing us? There's nothing here. I said, well, there used to be. I think he said some things on here. I'm closing. He said some things on here about, I think it's separation of cultures. We need to start weaning in why people are where they're at and what they're doing there. We need to, even if it means DeRoy Cruz has to live in the ghetto until he gets his credit fixed. Okay? I will live in the ghetto with my 9 on me at all times. Okay? But this is the thing. Some of these landlords and some of these, real estate people are making it hard for you to get a home because they are under pressure to keep crime from happening in their community. Now, there are communities here in Pittsburgh that are like stuck in between lower income neighborhoods, but nobody goes there except to work. They go there to work and then they get back on a bus and they take their butt to their inner urban city where they came from. White or black. Why? Because the taxes in these cities are very high. You cannot even afford, you're not going to get an average price to live in a nice apartment complex. There are no subsidized housings out there that aren't expensive. You're going to be like, wait a minute, I'm paying $800 a month for a one bedroom that's part of a duplex. I got to share the house with my neighbor? No, I ain't, no. Well, you're going to pay at least $800. You're going to pay $700 to live in an efficiency. Why? Because this is their way of, and I told a guy one day, he said, I know why. I told a landlord this one time when I tried to move to Bellevue. I said, I know why you're doing this. And he didn't want to agree with me, but then he had to agree with me. Same thing with Shady Side. Shady Side, you can go there and work. You can even work at the hospital. You can work as a nurse at the hospital. Work housekeeping at the hospital. But you can't afford to live there. Why? Because the taxes are high. Even though it's part of the inner city, the taxes are high. and but because it's so close to the inner city, you have a homeless problem there. You got homeless people hanging out in the hospitals and hanging out, on college property and stuff like that, because they're too close to the inner city. East Liberty is about a mile up the street. And that's like the big hallmark of a lot of black crime. And that's the hallmark where they kicked a lot of black people out of their homes because they're trying to do the same thing up there. They got rid of the high rise in the manor. They got rid of government housing up there. And they put in housing for the college students, which I don't blame them. And they put in housing for people that got more money. They can afford it. They got good credit. But what did they do with these black people that, they sent them to other projects where they probably got shot, got killed or something. They sent them to worse places. This is why, as a black person, if you didn't know before, you know now. Get yourself together. Get your college education if you can afford it. Get yourself a good job if you can get there. Okay? If you can apply, if you can clean up your background check, okay, if you can work as an apprentice or whatever, get that good job. And then move your black butt next to some white folks in a very uppity white neighborhood. This is the only way to save yourself, black folks. Because what's going to happen if you don't take my advice, you're going to be sitting here suffering the crime of your so-called brothers and sisters every day. They're going to be coming to your doorstep, trying to rob and rape you and do all these things to you, while you sit there and get mad at me and the Hodge twins because we're honest and saying that crime in America is majority black. No, forget about what I say. Worry about yourself. Help yourself. What they need to do with these kids, if these kids mess up in school, they shouldn't be allowed to go anywhere. If they can't get good grades in school, they shouldn't be allowed to go anywhere. And if they drop out of school, they should be arrested for it. You drop out of school, you should be arrested for it. These kids don't deserve good parents. These kids don't deserve. You say, well, it's the parents' fault. Well, the parents don't get a chance to say, you know what, I need to raise my kid better. It's too late. It's too late. By the time that kid is 12 years old, like they showed here, by the time that kid is 12 years old, he's already a criminal being tried as an adult. What you need to do is, if your kid drops out of school, ain't showing up for school, he lying to you, mom, lying to you, dad, he needs to be locked up. These black kids need to be taken from the home. And I'm talking about the kids that are I'm not talking about all, I'm talking about the kids that are dropping out of school, the kids that ain't showing up for school, the kids that refuse to make good grades in school when they got the mindset to do it. They don't want to do it because they don't care. And if you're a kind of parent that's been disciplined and you've caught up with yourself and you realize that you have to do better at raising your kids, and your kids won't let you do better for yourself and them, then you need to have them locked up. For the sake of that old lady that got attacked. For the sake of all these cops that are being killed. For the sake of all these rundown neighborhoods. You need to hand your kid over. I had a dream about all this. One day I'll tell you about it. But I had a dream about all this. There's a way to do it. There's a way to put a stop to it. It's called separation of cultures. And back in the day, we had it without realizing it. But today, no. For every white person that has a good job and has good education and lives in a nice apartment or house, if she goes anywhere near the inner city, there's a homeless bum or some guy with a gun, a rapist, a thug, sitting at your feet while you waiting on the bus to get back to your little suburban town. I remember not too long ago, I couldn't take my car down there. I had to get the bus because there's nowhere to park. So I got the bus downtown Pittsburgh. Now I work downtown Pittsburgh, but at night when I go downtown Pittsburgh, I can park. But the guys on the 3 to 11 shift and the guys on the daylight shift, there's nowhere for us to park. We have to park in the garage, or we have to find a place on the street to park. So I took the bus down there that day. I went down there, I think, to get my taxes done. And I'm at the bus stop waiting on my bus to come back home, and this white lady, I mean, she was fine. She was pretty. She's good looking, from head to toe. And she was nervous. You could tell she was nervous as can be. And she walks up and she saw me. I'm black, okay? I'm standing there. And I'm dressed like, it's my day off, okay? And she was, I'll go up here and hang out over here. So she went over here. All 3 of these stores, this is the bus stop, all 3 of these stores were closed. The only thing that was open was the Cricket store. But these other 4 buildings right here were closed. Okay? And there was no loitering on the door of the Cricket building, So she walks over there. She sits over there. This dude comes up with his... First, she was only about, 5 or 10 feet away from me. And this guy walked up, black dude, walked up, said, "Hey, baby, you got a few dollars on you, baby? I can't get no cigarettes. You got a light? Hey, baby." And she's like, "I don't have any of that. I don't smoke. I don't have any money. I don't have this. I don't have that, And she's like, I could tell her disgust, it's disgusting, And so finally he left. Finally, she decided to move a couple feet over some more. She figured if she stands over here, won't nobody bother her. Well, this dude got off the bus and he stopped at me and looked at me and looked me up and down. Looked at the guy next to me and looked him up and down. Saw her over there with her nice legs. And he went over there and sat right next to her ankle. And she backed up like, "Dude, what are you trying to do? Like, look up under my skirt, or what are you doing? What are you doing?" So she backed up. He waited a few minutes, and I'm keeping my eye on him because I'm going to go over there. You can call it a citizen's arrest, or you can call it citizens trying to look out for other citizens. Okay? He keep it up, I'm going to go over there. Finally, the bus came, but she kept moving over, and she would be on her phone. Y'all got to stop being on your phone. Y'all got to look the devil in his eye and say, "Not today, devil. Today ain't your day, devil." I said that to one of the guys that came in my place of business and said something to me, and I turned around and said, "Excuse me?" I said, "Not today, devil. You know you ain't supposed to be in here. Get on out of here." But, and then I showed him my badge. I said, "Get on out of here." Okay? But, this guy sat right next to her ankle. And I'm thinking, is he sitting on her ankle? Like, what the heck? So, she would move over a little bit. And I stood there and I'm waiting. I'm looking. I'm like, "Where's this bus at?" Okay. And I looked over. He had moved over some more. And she keeps moving over. And he keeps, listen. We need to do something. Quick. First of all, the homeless people shouldn't be at a place that can't give them money. If every person is not down there for the sake of the homeless, then the homeless shouldn't be there. If the shelters are full, the homeless shouldn't be there. Why the hell did you move the shelters to downtown Pittsburgh anyway? That's stupid. I was giving somebody an Uber ride one day last week, and he was complaining about this in his neighborhood. Like, he lives in the inner city. I think, was he from Philly? I forget where. No, he was from out of state. He was I think he was from New York City. And he was complaining about the same thing. about these people, these politicians and that, putting these homeless shelters down in the middle of the city. For these homeless people, oh, you can't stay. When you get up in the morning, you got to go and leave and then come back and fight for your bed. So they go out to the street pestering everybody, standing on the corners, and a lot of them ain't even homeless. They're doing this for a business. Then they move housing downtown Pittsburgh. We all knew that downtown Pittsburgh was starting to fall when they started putting all the McDonald's, when they started putting a McDonald's all over the place and all like that. And what happened when they put McDonald's all over the place? Well, two McDonald's, or three of them downtown Pittsburgh. Two of them, all the homeless people kept coming in there. The one McDonald's right there on Smithfield Street, just right down the street from where I work. They would go in there in the back and just sit there. And they had to keep calling the police on homeless people because they would go in the back. You know, near the front entrance. You go in the front entrance, they got the lights out back here. Dumb move. They got the lights out back here. And nobody sits back there that much. So these homeless guys would come in and you can't see them because the way the wall was curved. So they walk in and they sneak over the wall. And then they grab their bag or whatever and they sit there and sleep in the back near the front entrance. Until somebody noticed them back there. Somebody that works there had to go back there and clean and found them back there and called the police. That's Smithfield Street. The one down by the park. Okay? By Point Park. The one down there, the homeless people go in there. Okay? And they would go in there, and they would just go from table to table asking people for money. And it got so bad they had to leave a cop car parked outside so the homeless guys wouldn't go in there and try it. Okay? And then thirdly, the McDonald's up by where I work at, they just closed it right there on Wood Street, right around the corner from Smithfield. They closed that one. That was the one where all the young folks, where the Bloods and the Crips get together, go down there and fight. People go down there to Wood Street and park their car in front of McDonald's just to start trouble, or just to go down there and witness trouble and get it on videotape because they heard over the internet there was going to be some trouble there. People go down there to fight. They go down there to commit crime, to sell drugs right there at McDonald's on Wood Street. It's the McDonald's. I told somebody yesterday, I think it was at the Goodyear place, one of the guy's workers, after he got done working on my tire, we was talking. And he nodded his head because he's been to that McDonald's. I said, that's the McDonald's, that one down on Wood Street you talking about? Oh, that's the one where you walk in there and you see weave all over the floor in there because every single day of your miserable life, these black sisters are going in there fighting. And don't know how to clean up the weave behind them. And they laughed. We all laughed. All right. But he was like nodding his head. He's like, yeah, I know that McDonald's, man. It's like, I'd go in there, I'm like, what's up with all the weave? Like, these weaves ain't, well, once they fall off your head, I guess they ain't. Once the weave touch the floor, I'm out of here. Okay? I am DeRoy Cruz. I am your life applications officer. What are we going to do? We need to separate these cultures. We need to let the rich be with their people. We need to let the middle class be with their people. We need to let the poor be with their people. We need to separate the poor from those that are homeless. And we need to separate those that are legally homeless from those that are criminals. There's a whole lot of different cultures and diversity there. And there's not just black people, but there's white folks mixed in within all these groups. So we need to do something, because the way things are going right now, and if whoever the Republican is for the 2024 election, whoever the Republican will be that wins, if he doesn't fix it, if he doesn't do something. But do we have that long? Are we going to wait that long, though? Like, something needs to be done now. And I believe that all this is the Democrats, like they said right here, like Kevin said, this is all about what the Democrats are stealing from their own people that vote for them. This is what they're stealing for. It's what they take away from us, or take away from the Democrats, that causes all this crime and stuff. And the police can't touch them. The police can take their good old sweet time finding them and putting cuffs on them, and then take them to prison and let them go the next morning. And there's no place to put these kids because of Schumann Center. That's Pittsburgh, though. You're telling me over here in what's the name of this place here? Where they was just at. What's the name of this place here? What they call it? Oakland. Oakland, San Francisco. Okay? You're telling me that they don't have a place to put these teenagers? Now, right here in Pittsburgh, we shut down Schumann Center. So what you're telling me is that when Biden got in office, they didn't just shut down Schumann Center. They shut down all the youth behavior facilities all over America. You mean to tell me there ain't no youth behavior facility in Oakland? You got to let these kids do what they want to do because they're too young for you to arrest them, but yet they're going around killing adults. These kids are out here killing people in Pittsburgh with their bare hands, as well as shooting them. And it isn't until my place of business starts losing so much money on lawsuits that they can't afford their own employees anymore, that they're going to wake up and realize, stop worrying about people's stupid ass racial feelings. Stop worrying about what it looks like to different races and the people that ain't got money. Stop worrying about what it looks like. Worry about what's right. I don't care how many of it is black. If you clean up the city and everybody in all 20 vans are black, oh well, it is what it is. Sorry, I tried to tell you so. I'm black. I'm not in that van. I'm black. I'm not upset about it, except for the fact that it took you this long to do something about it. But you need to get these people off the street. If these kids are able to commit crime, okay, they're able to take a bullet. They're able to get their butts whooped. They're able to be knocked upside the head. They're able to be killed. I don't care about a kid that's running around here like a daggone gorilla, just killing everybody. Just eating up everything in sight. Like a daggone wild animal. The N-word is not enough. He likes to use the N-word. Kevin loves to use that N-word way out of proportion. The N-word is not enough. It's the A-word. Animals. That's what they are. Animals. Because that's what they act like. And that's how they live their lives. You think crime is something. You should see what led up to them committing crime. That's a worse story yet. I am DeRoy Cruz. I am your life applications officer. Thanks for watching. I know this was long, but I got it out. Hope you enjoyed it. God bless you. I'll talk to you soon with more, Lord willing.